On March 15, 44 BC, Julius Caesar was stabbed to death in Rome, Italy. Caesar was the dictator of the Roman Republic, and his assassins were Roman senators who were fellow politicians who also helped to shape Roman policy and government. Caesar was only 55 years old when he died. The main cause of the assassination is that many members of the Senate resented Caesar's popularity and arrogance. After Caesar became a dictator, these members who couldn't stand Caesar's power decided to strike his power. Caesar was one of the key elements of history. He changed the course of the history. Even though some people do not know his historic personality, everyone knows his name and he is known as a significant ruler. In spite of many sources, it seems like Caesar has chosen a political career. No matter how much he wants to take part in politics, his first aim and priority were to achieve power and make Greco-Roman world better again with his own ideas. Julius Caesar was born into politics, but had to escape from the capital due to the civil war between Mary and Sulla. When Sulla had died, Caesar returned to Rome and became a politician. After serving in various roles for some years, he acquired a huge debt, and there was only one way to earn back his money: squeeze it out of a province. There wasn't a lot of available provinces though, so he conquered Gaul instead and squeezed what he could out of it. Tensions started between him and the politicians in Rome, who didn't enjoy his new rise to power, and it all ended up in civil war, when Caesar and the 13th Legion crossed the Rubicon. After the civil war was won, Caesar had no enemies and was the undisputed ruler of Rome. He announced himself as dictator for life and planned to put Rome through extensive political reform before he was assassinated by Brutus.
With the Gallic Wars concluded, the Senate ordered Caesar to step down from his military command and return to Rome. In 49 BC, Caesar openly defied the Senate's authority by crossing the Rubicon and marching towards Rome at the head of an army. This began Caesar's civil war. Caesar defeated Pompey's forces and entered Rome in 46 BC, triumphant and unchallenged. Upon his return, Caesar made himself dictator and absolute ruler of Rome and its territories. He wielded his power to enlarge the Senate, created needed government reforms, and decreased Rome's debt. At the same time, he sponsored the building of the Forum Iulium and rebuilt two city-states, Carthage and Corinth. He also granted citizenship to foreigners living within the Roman Republic. After Julius Caesar made himself dictator and absolute ruler of Rome and its territories, in 44 BC, Caesar declared himself dictator for life. His increasing power and great ambition agitated many senators who feared Caesar aspired to be king. But some senators in the Senate started to feel the need to stop Julius Caesar in order to protect the Republic and to avoid dictatorship. On March 15, 44 BC, because of these concerns of the senators, Julius Caesar was assassinated. Caesar was stabbed to death by a group of Roman senators, including Marcus Brutus and led by Gaius Cassius Longinus, who were unhappy with his increasing power and the way he was governing Rome. The assassination took place in the theatre of Pompey, where Caesar had gone to attend a meeting of the Senate. Caesar was stabbed a total of 23 times, and he died at the age of 55. The assassination of Caesar was a major event in Roman history, and it is considered one of the key events that led to the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire.
Why did the conspirators want to kill Caesar? One of the most commonly cited reasons for the assassination was the fact they believed that Caesar wanted to be the king of Rome. Many ordinary Romans did not have a monarchy, and Caesar was popular with this class. However, the idea of a monarch was one that was unacceptable to the Roman aristocracy. They believed monarchs were a threat to liberty and were ultimately tyrants. They assumed that if Caesar became king, they would lose their freedom to participate in public life and protect their property. For members of the Roman elites, they felt that dignitas was impossible without liberty. Caesar's action made it clear to them that he wanted to retain his power, unlike Rome's previous dictators, permanently. Their suspicion whereof Caesar's motives were compounded by the public demonstrations outside of the Senate house by Roman citizens that demanded Caesar declare himself as a king. This unnerved and persuaded many angry Roman nobles to join the conspiracy. While Caesar's apparent pretensions angered many of the conspirators, others were angered over his apparent lack of respect for Roman senators. Several conspirators were linked to the senators and plotters that believed they were acting in the Senate's name. Senators were technically the lawmakers and the ultimate source of authority in the Republic. However, Caesar treated that body in a high-handed manner and often with contempt. He did not act respectfully towards the Senate, and this alienated many of them. Many senators saw his dismissive behavior as an affront and believed this was a thinly veiled attempt to marginalize the Senate. They saw his actions as an overt attempt to subvert the traditional form of government. Moreover, during the civil wars when Mark Antony had governed Italy, the Senate was cowed into submission. Many senators ambitioned to return to days when it was the main decision-making body in the Republic. Moreover, many senators who had conferred honorific titles and powers on the general were shocked when he used these largely symbolic powers to cement his position in Rome. The senators believed that the conqueror of Gaul was engaged in illegally gathering more personal power at the expense of the traditional elites and was subverting the constitution. The strained relationship between Caesar and the Senate was one factor which persuaded many that Caesar had to be assassinated.